Girls, what do you think would be the worst part of being a guy? I remember reading here on Reddit. A guy lost his best friend, I believe. And the girlfriend said to him that he could cry if he wanted. Hearing this words he just bawled. Cried for the death of his friend. Next day or something his girlfriend left him saying that she was seeing him differently after he cried. Cute. So yeah. Semicolon. Idiot. Bald to bald. Edit 2. All of these replies made me do an introspection of everything around me. I think it's important for all of us to retain some of these experiences and use them as knowledge to our own lives. Thank you all. Truly. Not being hugged regularly or receive any regular physical contact after becoming an adult if not in a relationship. Seems very lonesome. Being in a very guyish environment when I'm feeling fragile and sad. My partner just started antidepressants. For a long time he hasn't been okay. He skips work a lot. He works maybe 9 and 10 days. Recently he finally came to terms with his mental health and decided to see a doctor. I encouraged him to talk to his boss about it. Since his work performance and mental health are directly linked. And it's important that he has support at work. Not just at home. He was terrified of talking about it. He was afraid of looking like an idiot. Or worse. In front of his workmates. Being in a guy's environment is great. But there needs to be more of a bro attitude when one of the guys is clearly not okay. Look after each other. I didn't see this mentioned by any women here, so I will. Adult men have almost no physical contact with other human beings if they aren't in a relationship. How having mental illness is treated. It sucks for everyone but seems less tolerable for a man to be mentally ill. IDK, how else to word it? Being hit in the nuts. Fun fact. Being made fun of for crying or showing emotions. That and getting kicked in the balls. Not receiving compliments on your physical appearance often. Girls compliment each other on a daily basis. Girls will often receive compliments even from complete strangers. It can really help your self-esteem to reference those compliments when you're not feeling great about your appearance. Having little to no agency in your dating life. Ask any man who has done online dating and they will tell you how absolutely barren it is trying to find someone who will match with you and keep a conversation going. If you said being starved of any kind of positive attention for months or even years on end, then you're correct. The mentality of having to be the breadwinner head of house and dealing with the social consequences of not living up to that. I'm the breadwinner in my house. My husband isn't bothered by it. But you're right. Society does. People keep asking me why I stay because he doesn't earn more than me. It's like damn. He loves and supports me and treats me like a princess. Why would I want anyone else? As a man, I felt terrible when I found a child who lost his parents at the water park and the first thing I had to do was to enlist the help of a woman. Before even approaching the kid. If you're a guy, you're just blocked from a lot of interactions for the very concrete possibility of being seen as a predator. I like being friendly to strangers. But a lot of times they'll assume either you're ill-intentioned or you want to sell them something. As far as previous values in our society, having to make the first move on a girl to ask her out. Edit. Lots of people are saying that they are current values in our society. I am aware of that. I didn't want people to say they don't have to ask the girl. The girl can ask too. Apparently that wouldn't have been a problem. Not feeling like you can say hi to kids or watch them play and have fun without parents thinking something sinister. I don't have kids yet and I love watching kids enjoy life and play. I'm a woman and there's no problem. Obviously I don't stare for ages but I will smile and watch briefly. Just enjoying their childlike simplicity and the way they interact. The mixed signals from girls. Being judged by every action. I swear nowadays you can literally be a dad hanging out with your kid and someone will think you kidnapped him or her. Edit. Being taught to hide emotions all the time. Now you don't know where the upvotes came from. Being completely expendable. Having your worth determined by your success and social status. The society always treats you as a disposable. When you grow from a precious child to a young man and are suddenly an expendable nothing in everyone's eyes. Getting random boners in awkward situations. Particularly during puberty when everything is already awkward enough as it is. Getting custody of a child. I believe that a study should be made in which they analyze with whom will the kid be better psychologically and physically. Putting an emphasis on the psychology part. Sometimes the dad is not even heard. Look at the situation of Danielle Cohn's dad. Both parties should be heard. Around here the dad isn't even considered. I have literally watched well-grounded dads get flushed down the toilet while the drug-addicted mother gets custody. Like 98% of the time. It's sickening, and those kids grow up abused. Sometimes sorely by drug addict moms, drug addict boyfriends. All the while, dad just has to sit and watch with no voice in any of it. Unless he can't afford an extremely expensive lawyer. Having balls. They're super sensitive. They stick to the legs. All of your movements basically revolve around the comfort of your twig and berries. No thanks. The bizarre thing is they're only sensitive in certain situations. Kick me in them and I'll be down for 10 minutes. Yet when I'm F-king they can be slamming forcefully against the lady's butthole and they feel like $1,000,000. Go figure. The expectation that if someone insults me, a loved one, I have to fight it out to regain honor. Always being the one who is expected to be strong when everything is falling apart. A bunch of no physical contact. Or balls getting hurt. Comments. You girls are forgetting the worst part. Imagine all those compliments and attention you received over your lifespan. Now imagine none of it ever occurred. You now live a life of zero to next to nothing external validation, outward approval, or confirmation of any parts of your life. Compliments for just being you. Never. Compliments for a small thing. Like how you dressed. Doing a nice gesture for someone. Succeeding at a small task. Never. Compliments for a new job. Huge success. Losing 25 pounds. Etc. Not likely. And often not without ulterior judgment. Edit. I'm okay with this. Actually, I have a very good life and I don't draw validation or esteem from external people at all. Don't remember if I ever did or if that's just the way I developed. Lots of good advice for people that do. However, being beat up at school. Or being a less of a man if I can't beat other boys up. Having a mess to clean up after masturbating. The expectation of being made of stone. Growing up I always heard the whole men don't insert any display of positive emotions here, and I remember thinking about how wrong that was. Or boys don't play with or enjoy anything considered to be feminine. And if they do, they're gay. I think the absolute worst is being laughed at when coming forward about sexual and domestic violence. Who the FCK does that? Imagine a family member, female obviously, coming to you and telling you that they're being abused by their partner. You beat the FK into the ground or even kill them. So, why in the hell wouldn't you do the same for a male family member? Always being aware of all actions. Like smile at a woman. If you're good looking. Totally fine. If not? Creep. Walk behind a woman at night? Creep. Want to help a little child to find his parents? Most likely creepy. I think it is very hard to learn how to act in public. Worrying about the size of your penis. Not having a SI woman body. I'm so sorry. Either social inequality. Being torn down for having feelings. Not being able to dress freely in the same way that women can dress in either male or female clothes. Not having their mental illnesses being taken seriously. Being expected to have absolutely massive arms and broad shoulders inflated to the point where it's not even attractive. Being ridiculed for taking care of themselves. Etc. Or getting random boners. Am I the only guy that feels weirdly guilty looking through this thread? It feels odd having all these people give me so much sympathy. If I was gay, I imagine it would be very difficult to come out. My younger brother was gay his entire life and me and my older brother knew it. We teased him a bit. But we just wanted him to be himself. And be able to do what he wants without scrutiny. You know? When he finally came out, my father grabbed his keys and left. While me, my brother, and my mom supported him. We're all fine now. But I can see after all that time why he tried to hide it. We're all on good terms now. But I can't imagine how that must have felt. Guys are expected to make the first move, me included. Having balls. It seems like they only have two settings, itch and hurt. All the expectations men are put up with. The having to always be strong and not allowed to show emotion. The not allowed to be sensitive. The men should work so the women can stay home. The men are subjected to only being manly and having no feelings. Also not to mention the random boners and having to always make the first move. Manual labor and physically demanding work. My college girlfriend. It's not fair that you make more money than me. It's so sexist. Me. I worked 50 hours a week all summer throwing slabs of meat in a factory. You work 10 hours a week at a theater. Having to make the first move. And having to deal with the possibility of rejection. There are other fish in the sea. But I wanted that one. Double standards. What I hate is when is the girl that can be like I only date tall people or 60k figure salary and nobody cares, but if a guy doesn't want to date someone fat. My boyfriend got divorced from his ex-wife 2 years ago. His story is basically a cliche, it happens so often to men. Lost the business he started. Half his savings. Half of his time with his daughter. And more than half of their old friends. To a woman who cheated on him multiple times right after he stuck with her through cancer treatment. So basically, the way that both the law and people in general treat men going through divorces. All these replies and no one has specifically mentioned sitting on your own balls. It's a terrible fate I don't wish on my enemies. It doesn't work that way. At least for me. I think most girls would be shocked at how much bullshit they get away with just because they are girls. Putting your balls in the water to see which way the current is going. F-king get a load of pendulum balls over here. Not feeling wanted, desired. When a woman is single or lonely, she can rest assured that many men will still chase her and try to ask her out. When a guy is lonely, he feels like an unwanted piece of trash. I'm a guy, but I'm surprised no one, at least from what I say, said this. Hair that grows around your ass. Ass hair is the absolute worst. Getting really sick and being on the toilet alert only to find out your shitty has stuck to your ass hair is the worst. Having to adjust your balls all the time. The worst part of being a guy is accounting for 78% of murder victims. 94% of work fatalities. 70% of suicides. And being almost twice as likely to die of cancer. Kinda surprising nobody mentioned this. I guess it's not very well known. I like how this gets downvoted. Thanks for proving the point. An average looking woman doesn't need a job to meet a guy and have a family. A lot of men are willing to support women. So technically if she is not ugly she can still live well. An average looking guy with no job? Nah. No woman will agree to support him. Hypothetically speaking. I have a full-time job and have my own bank account. But hypothetically if I was single and broke, I could still find a dude to pay for my everything and let me move in with him. Having to always be the provider and be strong. Society's portrayal of what a guy should be is just so daunting in certain areas. The not being able to express anything but rage without society telling me I'm less of a man for experiencing normal human emotions. Toxic masculinity sucks. Loneliness. Compulsory military draft. False rape, sexual harassment accusations. I'm a guy and here's something I haven't thought about. I have a psychology assignment where we need to observe a learning community, schools, sport clubs etc. We chose an elementary school and our group consists of 3 adult dudes. We've been given an okay to observe. But only one of us can go in there because otherwise the kids might be intimidated and we'll disrupt the classroom. Females don't have this problem. Yeah. Ever wondered why pretty much every kindergarten employee is female unless they're some upper management and don't interact with kids? Ending up with a tiny dick. Not having too many things to choose from when it comes to clothes? What are you talking about? All of our stuff has pockets and we don't have to care about fashion. Shirts and jeans for life. Oh. You want a suit? Here are 1000 suits colored from Washington black to navy blue. With an occasional tan suit. Oh, you don't like those colors? FCK off then. This is why dads like Hawaiian shirts. Tacky? Sure. But they look nice and have more variety. Sitting on a toilet and feeling your dick hit the water. Look at MR. It may sound alarming. But the prospect of receiving little to no romantic interest indefinitely kinda sucks. Women have to navigate around unwanted attention and further harassment all the time. Yet, I'm confident a good number of cis hetero men would pick being harassed over receiving mild attention consistently. I'm a relatively unattractive guy and I'm fairly certain I'm labeled a creep whenever I walk into a social gathering before I can even say a word. Not having drunk girl and bathroom experiences. Everyone is so sweet. I won't call it sweet. The fact that women can say I only like tall guys. Or I want a rich guy. But if a guy turns down a fat woman that he has no interest in, he's an insensitive asshole. Dealing with the ass hair. As a husband, I must have the best wife and mother. Everyone is posting about not being able to show emotions, be the breadwinner, etc. I literally have never had this social burden in life. I either don't give a shit about what society thinks of me, or I have been supported on a level far above what's expected. Or both. I've been fortunate. Head in sand, I suppose. But I didn't know this was still such a cultural thing. Lucky good for you, my dude. That if you're short and not that handsome, you can't really do anything about it and you won't have success with women. Only if you have exceptional charisma money. Guy here and I haven't seen anyone mention the fact that we will likely go bald. Yep. I'm balding at 22. 6'3" bearded dude. At this point I can either choose to look like a skinhead or that weird 35-year-old chemistry teacher you had at school. Have tried both. Both suck. Not being able to show emotions without being called a wuss. And, since I'm white, being scared of saying anything to support feminism. LGBTQ and POC causes without sounding like I'm just trying to call attention to me.